Good evening. You have found your way here at the right hour, when the work of the day is behind you and sleep is somewhere ahead. Tonight, you travel the oldest journey the Egyptians ever set down in writing, the night voyage of the sun through the Duat, the hidden country that lies below the world. You go down into it as the last light fails. You sail its 12 dark hours one by one, and you come up again only at dawn. If these quiet nights help you loosen your hold on the day, you might like this video, or follow along, so the next one finds you when you need it. There is no rush in it, and no favor owed. And if you would leave a word before you drift, tell me where in the world you are listening from tonight, and what the sky looks like above you. For now, set everything down. Lower the light, find the soft of your pillow, and let your shoulders come away from the day. The sun has just gone down behind the western hills, and the tall stone needle above you still holds one thread of gold, while everything below it has cooled to the color of ash. You're standing in an empty temple court with your palm flat against the warm granite of an obelisk, breathing the last of the day's lamp, smoke, and incense as the light climbs the shaft, thins, and quietly lets go. The stone gives the day back slowly into the cooling air, the way a loaf gives its heat to a cold kitchen. You feel it against your palm and your wrist and the soft inside of your arm. Around you the court is very quiet. The last priests have gone in. The doves in the high walls have folded themselves away. Somewhere behind you, a single lamp burns in a doorway, thin and orange, and it does not reach very far across the flagstones. The thread of gold at the top of the needle grows narrow and narrower, and then it is gone, and the whole shaft is the same blue as the air. The day has ended. Now the longer thing begins. The blue in the court deepens by the minute, and the walls that were pale gold at noon go the color of deep water. You take your hand off the warm stone at last. Your palm keeps the warmth of it for a few steps, the way a held thing stays with you after you set it down. The old priests here have a book they keep, copied and recopied for longer than anyone can count. They call it the Amduat, which means only the account of what is in the hidden place. It tells where the sun goes when it leaves the sky. It does not go out, the book says. It does not die. It only goes down into a country below the world, a long country of 12 hours, and it sails the whole length of that country in a boat, and it comes up again in the east made new. That country has a name. They call it the Duat. And the book says that any drowsy soul may go down with the sun and ride the boat and come up whole in the morning, if only it will lie still and let the current carry it. Tonight you are that soul. You do not decide it. It is simply true, the way things are true in the last minutes before sleep. You walk out through the great gate of the temple, and the town beyond it is settling. Cook fires are being banked to embers. A donkey shifts its weight in a stall. The smell of the river comes up to meet you, silt and wet reed and cool mud, and you follow it down the sloping street toward the water. The paving gives way to packed earth, and the earth gives way to sand, and the sand runs down at last to the edge of the great river, black and smooth and wide in the failing light. At the western edge of the water, a long, low boat has come to rest in the shallows. It is a quiet boat. It sits so lightly that it barely dents the surface, and at its high curved prow a single lamp is burning. That lamp is the only bright thing in the whole cooling world. It throws a small gold coin of light onto the black water, and the water holds it and does not let it slip away. There are people in the boat. You cannot see their faces, only their shapes, sitting easy and unhurried along the low benches. No one calls to you. No one hurries you. The boat simply waits in the shallows with its one lamp, the way a house waits with the light left on for someone still on the road. At the water's edge, a figure stands to see you down. He is tall and still, and there is something of the jackal about the set of his head, the sharp ears, the long, careful nose lifted a little to the night air. This is Wepwawet, whose name means the opener of the ways. He is the one who walks ahead of every traveler and finds the path before the traveler's feet do. He keeps this first threshold clear. He has kept it clear since before the town behind you had a name. He does not speak. He only turns his narrow head toward the boat once, the smallest tilt, and you understand that the way is open and you may go down to the water. The shallows are warm around your ankles. The mud is soft and lets you sink a little with each step, and it closes around your feet with a low sound, and it is not unpleasant. A hand comes down from the boat to steady you. You take it and step over the low side and find a place among the quiet companions, and it is warm there, warmer than you expected, warm as a bed already slept in. You settle. The bench takes your weight. The people on either side of you make a small room for you without a word, and then they are still again. The boat rocks once as you sit, a slow, deep tilt and a slow return, and then it settles, and then it is quiet. You feel the water under the hull. You feel how thin the wood is between you and the great slow river, and instead of fear it gives you a kind of ease, the way lying on the ground under an open sky can make you feel held rather than small. Behind you, at the western edge, there is a door. You had not seen it before. It is only there now because the boat has begun to move away from it, and its shape shows against the last gray light. It is a plain door, and a very large one, and as the boat draws off into deeper water, the door swings shut, slowly, without a sound. The lamp at the prow does not so much as flicker. The door closes on the last of the day, and on the town, and on the warm stone needle in the empty court, and it seals them behind you soft and complete, and the west is closed. You are in the country of the night now. The book said you would be. There is nothing to do about it, and nothing to fear in it. The oars have found the water somewhere ahead of you, and the boat is moving, slow and certain, into the mouth of the dark. And there is one more thing in this first hour, and it is a gentle thing. On the western mountain, high above the closed door, a great presence is standing to receive the sun that has gone down. The old people call her Hathor, the lady of the western mountain, the one who takes in the setting light. She receives the day the way a house receives someone coming home after a long time away, without questions, without any need for words, only a door held open, and a warm room beyond it, and the sure knowledge that the traveler is where the traveler ought to be. You feel some of that welcome settle over the whole boat. It is in the warmth of the bench and the closeness of the quiet companions and the steady small flame at the prow. Ra, the sun, has come home into the west, and you have come with him, and the mountain has taken you both in. The oars dip. The lamp burns. The far bank slides by, black on black, and there is nothing you are asked to carry and nothing you are asked to do. The gate stood open, and you went through it. Now it is shut behind you, and the night is long, and the boat knows the way. You can let your shoulders down. You can let the warm dark come up around you. The first hour is the easy one, the one where you are simply received, and it asks of you only that you stay in the boat and let the river do the rest. The boat moves out from the closed western door, and the river opens. It does not narrow the way you thought it might. It widens instead. The banks fall away on either side, low and soft, until they are only a darker line against the dark, and between them the water spreads out flat and endless, a wide flooded plain with no far shore that you can find. The old texts call this the field of the night. It is the first of the 12 rooms of the Duat, and it is a broad and gentle one. Reeds stand up out of the shallows in loose crowds. They are black against a faint last light in the sky, thin and tall and perfectly still, because there is no wind here at all. Not a breath. The reed tops do not stir. The lamp at the prow does not lean. The only movement in the whole wide field is the boat itself and the slow silver seam it draws across the water behind it. You listen, and there is almost nothing to hear. The oars enter the water, and lift, and enter again, and that soft, even sound is the only sound in the world. Dip, and pull, and lift. Dip, and pull, and lift. It is the sound of something patient that has done this many times before and is in no hurry to be finished. You find that your own breath has begun to go along with it without your asking. The oars go down and your breath goes out. The oars lift and your breath comes in. It is easy to do. It is easier than not doing it. There are figures on the banks. You see them slowly as your eyes learn the dark. They stand among the low reeds at the water's edge, quiet people, gentle shapes, watching the boat come. There are not many at any one place, only 2 or 3 here, a small handful there, spread thin along the endless margin of the field. And as the bow draws near each little group, they lift their hands. They lift their hands toward the lamp. That is all. It is the oldest gesture there is, the open hand raised to a light in the dark, and there is nothing in it that they want from you. They do not call out. They do not reach into the boat. They do not ask to be taken aboard or carried anywhere or given anything at all. They only raise their palms toward the small gold flame at the prow, and hold them there while the boat passes, and lower them again when it has gone by. They are simply glad the light has come. They have been waiting in the dark of the field, and the light has come through as it always comes, and they lift their hands the way you might lift your face to the first warmth of a morning. You feel something loosen in your chest, watching them. There is no fear on those faces. There is only a kind of patient gladness, the gladness of people who know the light will pass and know it will come again and are content to wait between the two. Their welcome is quieter than the welcome of the mountain behind you, but it is the same welcome. You are among people who are glad you are here and who ask nothing of you. The water in this field is calm and shallow and warm. You trail your fingers over the low side of the boat, and it is warm as breath against your skin, warm as bath water grown comfortable, and it moves so slowly around your hand that you can barely feel it move at all. Underneath the boat, the flooded plain cannot be very deep. Now and then an oar touches the soft bottom and finds it and lifts away, and you understand that the whole wide field is only a thin, warm sheet of water lying over dark, soft earth, no deeper than a person is tall, spread out under the night for miles. The boat leaves its long silver seam behind it. You watch that seam. Where the hull cuts the flat water, the surface parts, and the lamplight runs down the two opening lines in threads of pale silver, and for a moment there is a bright road stretched out behind the boat across the black field. And then, slowly, the water closes. The two lines lean back toward each other. The silver dims and rejoins and smooths itself away, and the field is flat and dark and whole again, as though the boat had never come. It closes behind you the way water always closes. It keeps nothing. It holds no mark. Whatever passed over it is simply gone, and the surface is calm again and ready for the next thing. And there is a great rest in watching that happen, over and over, all along the seam. This is the settling hour. The book knows it. The people who first told this story knew it. After the gate of the first hour, before any of the harder rooms further down, the sun is given this one wide, easy field to cross, this plain of still warm water where nothing is asked and nothing is feared, and the only work is the slow, even dip and pull of the oars. It is the hour where a mind that has been holding on all day is finally allowed to loosen its grip, not to let go all at once. Only to loosen, only to notice that its grip was tight, and to open the fingers of it a little, and to feel how much lighter the holding is when it is loose. Let your own grip loosen now. There is nowhere the boat can go but forward, and forward is slow, and the way is flat and warm and long. The reeds stand still. The gentle people lift their hands and lower them. The silver seam opens and closes and is gone. The oars go down and your breath goes out. The oars lift and your breath comes in. Ra sails the field of still water, and you sail it with him, low in the warm boat among the quiet companions, and the lamp at the prow burns straight up into the windless dark. There is a long way still to go. That is not a worry. That is the gift of it. The night is wide, and the boat is patient, and you have been received into both. You can let the field carry you. You can let your hand rest in the warm water. You can let the slow silver road open behind the boat and close behind the boat and take nothing of you with it as it closes. The field is still. The water is warm. The light has come, and the hands have lifted to greet it, and the boat goes on across the endless gentle plain, in no hurry at all, toward the deeper water that waits somewhere ahead in the dark. The wide field cannot last forever, and slowly it gathers itself in. You feel the change before you see it. The banks, which had fallen so far away that they were only a rumor of darkness on either side, begin to come back. They draw in from the left and in from the right, patient and unhurried, until once again there are two shores, low and close. And the boat is moving down a broad channel between them, rather than across an open plain. The reeds grow thicker along these banks, in dense, soft stands, and then they thin, and then there are no reeds at all, only smooth, dark earth going down to smooth, dark water. And the water deepens. You cannot see it deepen, but you can feel it under the hull. In the field, the oars kept brushing the soft bottom and lifting away. Here, they no longer find it. They go down into the water and pull and lift, and there is only water beneath them, deep and still and very old. The boat sits differently on deep water. It rises lower and steadier, and its small motions grow long and slow, and the warmth that had been in the shallow field gives way to a cooler, calmer, deeper quiet. The old texts have a name for this water. They call it the water of Osiris. This is his country now. This is the still deep channel that belongs to the Lord of the Duat, and you have come into it the way you come into a great house, feeling the air change at the threshold, feeling that you are somewhere that is watched over and kept. You look toward the eastern bank, and he is there. Osiris is present in this hour the way a mountain is present, not moving, not speaking, simply and entirely there. You do not see him all at once, and you do not see him clearly. You see a tall stillness on the bank, a seated figure or a standing one, wrapped and quiet, with the far lamplight just touching the edge of him. And what comes off him across the dark water is not fear. You had half-expected fear. A king of the dead, a lord of the whole country of the night, ought by every reckoning to be a fearsome thing to pass beneath. He is not. What comes off him is patience. He's the most patient thing you have ever been near. He has been keeping this country since before the first night, and he will keep it after the last one, and there is no hurry anywhere in him, and no anger, and no threat. He is a quiet king in a quiet country, and the boat passes under his stillness and is not troubled. He rules by keeping things in their right place. That is what the old people understood about him. He does not rule the way a warlord rules, by taking and by breaking. He rules the way a good order rules, by letting each thing be what it is and rest where it belongs. There is a word for that rightness, that balance, the way things sit when they are set true. The word is ma'at. It is the straightness of a level floor, and the fairness of an honest scale, and the calm of a house where everything is where it should be. Osiris keeps ma'at over the whole country of the night, and you can feel it in the very water, in how evenly the boat rides, in how the deep channel neither rushes you nor holds you back. Along both banks now, the dead are resting. You see them as you saw the gentle people in the field, slowly as your eyes take in the dark. But these are stiller. These are the ones who kept Ma'at while they lived, who were straight and fair and kind in the small daily ways that no one records, and here in the deep water of Osiris, they are tended and unhurried and at ease. They lie along the banks the way people lie down when the day's work is truly done and there is nothing left that must be finished. Some seem to sleep. Some seem to watch the boat with a calm that has no wanting in it. They are cared for here. You can see that they are cared for, though you cannot see who does the caring. There is bread near them. There is clean cloth. There is the deep, even quiet of a place where the tending never stops and never hurries. The lamp at the prow touches their faces as the boat goes by. It is a small thing and a very tender one. The little gold flame slides along the deep channel, and as it comes level with each resting face on the bank, that face is touched for a moment with warm light, cheek and brow and closed or quiet eye, and then the flame slides on and the face returns to the dark. One after another they are lit and let go, lit and let go, all down the long banks of the water of Osiris. The light does not wake them. It does not ask anything of them. It only passes over each of them in turn, gently, the way a hand might be laid for a moment on a sleeping child's head and then lifted away so as not to disturb the sleep. You watch face after face receive that touch of light, and something in you grows very quiet, quieter than it has been all day, quieter perhaps than it has been in a long time. Because you understand, watching, that nothing is being asked of them, and so nothing is being asked of you. That is the whole gift of this deep, still hour. In the country of Osiris, in the water that keeps Ma'at, the only thing required of the resting dead is that they rest. They do not have to earn the light that touches their faces. They do not have to prove that they kept Ma'at. They kept it, and now they are kept, and the boat and its lamp move among them not to judge them, but simply to pass through and warm them for a moment on the way. And you are in that boat. You are among that resting company. Nothing is asked of you here except to keep breathing and to let the current do the work, and the current is deep and slow and sure, and it belongs to a patient king who has never once been in a hurry. So let it carry you. The banks are close and quiet. The water is deep and old. Osiris keeps his still country, and Ma'at holds everything level, and the resting dead lie easy along the shores with bread near their hands and clean cloth over them. The lamp goes on ahead, touching one calm face and then the next, and the boat follows the lamp, and you follow in the boat, low and warm and unafraid. Ra sails the water that belongs to Osiris down the deep channel of the third hour, and the night is far from over, and that is well. There is no gate to fear yet. There is no work for your hands. There is only the deep water and the patient king and the slow gold light going from face to face along the banks, lighting each one gently and letting it go. You can let yourself be one of those faces now. You can let the light touch you as it passes, warm on your brow, and slide on. You can rest here in the keeping of the still country, and breathe with the oars, and let the deep old water carry you on into the dark. The deep, still water runs on for a long while, and then, without any sign to warn you, it begins to fail. You feel it first as a change in the boat. The long, steady ride of the deep channel grows shallow again, but not the warm, easy shallow of the field far behind you. This is a different thinness. The oars go down and find the bottom quickly now, and the bottom is no longer soft, dark mud. It is firmer. It grates. The blades come up with a dry whisper, and the water grows thinner under the hull with every stroke, until at last the boat slows and settles and stops. The oars can do no more. There is not enough water left to carry it. You have come to the edge of the river. The old texts knew this place would come. The water of the night does not run forever. Somewhere near the middle of the long country, the river gives out entirely, and there is a wide, dry region where no water flows at all, only sand, pale and endless in the dark. This is the driest room of the Duat, and it belongs to a god named Sokar. You climb down out of the boat onto the sand, and so do the quiet companions, and it is strange to stand after so long sitting low in the warm hull. The sand is cool and deep, and it takes your feet the way soft snow would, letting you sink to the ankle with each step. It gives back no heat. The whole region is cool and still and colorless, a country of gray sand under a black sky, and it goes on farther than the lamp can reach. Sokar keeps this country. He stands ahead of you in the dark, and there is the shape of a falcon in the high set of his head, the hooded eye, the short curved beak, the stillness of a bird that can wait on a high ledge for half a day without moving. He is the lord of this dry and buried place. The old people understood him as the keeper of what is put away, the guardian of the tools and the workshops of the dead, all the quiet gear of craft laid up in the sand where the river ends. Nothing here is lost. It is only kept, folded away in the dry, cool dark, waiting the way a tool waits on a shelf between one day's work and the next. The boat cannot float here, but it must still go forward, and so the crew do the only thing that can be done. They take up long ropes, and they loop them over their shoulders, and they draw the boat forward across the sand by hand. You take a rope, too. It is rough and warm from other hands, and you set it across your shoulder the way the others do, and you lean into it, and you walk. The boat comes after you, slow and heavy, its hull hissing softly through the deep sand. It is not hard work, exactly. It is only slow, impatient, and long. Blade by blade you had crossed the water. Step by step you cross the sand. The way is not straight. That is the thing about this dry country. The path bends and doubles and winds, and you cannot see far enough ahead to know why it turns, where it turns. You simply follow the curve of it, one careful footfall after another, trusting that the ones ahead of you can see the ground you cannot. The ropes creak softly over the sand. The boat hisses. Your own breath comes even and slow with the walking. And though you cannot see the way is being kept safe for you, and you come to understand how. There is someone walking ahead of the whole procession. She goes first, out at the very front, where the dark is thickest and the path is least sure. She is Serpent, and there is a scorpion in the sign she carries above her, the raised tail, the patient curl of it, though there is nothing fearsome in how she walks. She walks the way a person walks, who knows exactly where the dangerous ground is and steps around it without hurry. In the daylight world, the scorpion is the small death that waits under a stone in the sand, and the one who rules the scorpion is the one who can make the sand safe. That is what she does here. She goes ahead into the crooked dark and finds the sound footing and the hidden turns, and she makes the winding way safe before your foot ever comes down on it. You do not see the dangers she turns aside. You only feel, the whole slow length of the walk, that the ground where you step has already been made safe by someone who went first. That is a great comfort out here in the driest hour. You do not have to find the way. You do not have to watch the sand for what might be under it. Someone who understands this country better than you ever could is walking ahead in the dark, and her whole care is that the path be clear when you reach it. All you must do is follow, and lean into the rope, and let your feet fall where the feet ahead of you have fallen. The pace is slow now, slower than it has been all night, and that slowness is the whole shape of this hour. The field of still water was a settling. The deep channel behind you was a resting. This dry sand is something quieter still. It is patience made into a walk. There is nowhere to rush to, and no way to rush there, even if you wish to, because the boat is heavy, and the sand is deep, and the path bends where it bends. So you stop wishing to rush. You let the walk become the whole of you. The rope on your shoulder, the soft hiss of the hull, the cool sand closing over each footfall and opening for the next, the dark ahead where Serpent walks, the falcon stillness of Sokar keeping his buried country all around you. You breathe with the steps the way you breathe with the oars. In on one step, out on the next. The old rhythm has only changed its instrument. On the water, it was the dip and pull of the blades. Here on the sand, it is the fall of your own quiet feet, one and then the other, on and on, drawing the boat toward the far edge of the dry country. It is the same rhythm. It has been carrying you all night, and it carries you still. And nothing here is trying to stop you. That is worth saying plainly, because the dry hour could so easily be a fearful one, a wide, dark, waterless waste in the middle of the night, and it is not. It is only slow. So Kar does not bar your way. He keeps his workshops and his buried tools and lets the procession pass through his country without a word, the way a watchman lets known travelers through a quiet gate. Serpent does not frighten you. She protects you. The sand does not swallow you. It only asks you to walk gently and take your time. The whole crooked patient hour asks for patience rather than fear, and patience is an easy thing to give when you are this tired and the walk is this slow and the way ahead is being kept safe by careful hands. So walk. Lean into the rope. Let your feet sink and lift, in the cool, deep sand. Let the boat come hissing after you. Let Serpent go ahead into the dark and clear the winding path. Let Sokar keep his still gray country all around, and let the driest hour of the night be exactly what it is, a long, slow, careful walk toward water that waits somewhere on the far side of the sand. Ra crosses the sand where the river ends, drawn by hand across the country of Sokar, and you cross it with him, a rope on your shoulder, and the dark all around, and the sure feet of the crew going before you. There is no water here. There will be again. For now there is only the walk, and the walk is enough, and the walk goes on, slow and safe, into the deeper dark ahead. The winding path across the sand leads down. You do not notice the descent at first. The ground only seems to lean a little under your feet, and the crooked way bends more often than before, and the dark grows closer on either side. Then you understand that the open sand has given way to walls. The country of Sokar has drawn itself in and roofed itself over, and you are walking now not across an open waste, but into a great cavern, a vast hidden room in the deepest part of the dry country, with a low, unseen ceiling somewhere above, and close rock walls curving away into black on either hand. The boat still comes behind you on its ropes, hissing softly over the last of the sand, and then even the sand grows shallow over stone, and the sound of the hull changes to a low, dry scrape. The air is different here. It is cooler, and it is very still, and it smells of dust and old stone, the smell of a room that has been shut for a long time. Your voice, if you spoke, would not go far in it. But no one speaks. The whole procession moves through the cavern in a hush that feels older than silence. Ahead, the path bends around something, and you follow the bend, and you come to see what it bends around. There is a mound in the middle of the cavern. It rises up out of the floor, low and rounded and dark, a hidden hill of the deepest place in the night, and the path curves carefully around its foot without touching it. This is the heart of Sokar's country, the buried center of the dry hour, and there is a great weight of quiet on it, the quiet of a thing that has been kept sacred and undisturbed for longer than any book can hold. You feel that you should lower your eyes as you pass it, and you do, and the boat is drawn slowly around the curve of the path in the same hush. Two figures keep watch at the mound. They stand very still, one at the head of it and one at the foot, and in the dim lamplight they have something of the shape of birds, tall and folded and patient, two watchful presences guarding the long silence of the mound from either end. These are Isis and Nephthys, the two sisters who keep watch over what must be kept. Where there is a body that needs guarding through the dark, where there is a sacred quiet that must not be broken, they are the two who stand at either end of it and hold the watch. They stand here now, at the head and at the foot of the hidden mound, unmoving, their care poured out entirely into the simple act of watching. They do not turn to look at the boat. Their whole attention is on the mound and the silence, and the boat passes between them softly and does not disturb the watch they keep. There is something deeply steadying in seeing them there. The lowest, most hidden place in the whole country of the night is not left unguarded. It is not empty, and it is not forgotten. 2 patient watchers stand over it in the dark, and have stood over it since the first night, and will stand over it still when the boat has long gone by. Whatever rests in the mound rests safe, because they are there. And you, passing through, are safe too, in the same keeping. And then, far above the mound, high up where the cavern roof must be, you see the small bright sign. It is a very little thing. In all that great dark room it is only a spark, a faint gleam clinging to the unseen ceiling far overhead. But you look at it, and you understand what it is. It is a scarab, the round, small shape of the beetle that the old people watched rolling its ball of earth across the ground. The beetle they made into the sign of the morning. They called that sign Capre, which means the one who comes into being, the one who becomes. It is the shape the sun takes when it is about to be born again at the eastern edge of the world. And here it is, faint and small and high above the deepest mound of the night, waiting. Not yet arrived. That is the thing to understand about the little sign. It is a promise, and the promise has not yet come true. You are at the very bottom of the night now, in its most hidden room, and the morning is still a long way off, still hours of dark away down the winding path. But the sign of the morning is already here. High up in the roof of the lowest cavern, before the deepest room has even been reached, the small bright scarab is already waiting, faint but sure, so that even in the most buried hour there is something to lift your eyes toward. The dawn has not come, but its sign is already hung in the dark, and a hung sign is a kept promise. Off to one side, at a distance, there is a low red glow. You see it across the floor of the cavern, a dull deep red, like the last of a fire banked under ash, and warmth comes off it faintly even from far away. It is a lake of some kind, a still pool that glows with its own slow heat down in the dark. From here it is harmless. It is only warm, only red, only distant, a low hearth-colored light at the edge of the great room. The boat keeps well clear of it. The path holds its careful line around the mound and past the watchers and well away from the warm red water, and you pass the glow at a safe remove, feeling its faint heat on the side of your face for a moment, and then leaving it behind. It does not reach for you. Nothing in this hour reaches for you. Everything only keeps its place, the mound and the watchers and the high small sign and the low red lake, each holding still in the dark while the boat is drawn quietly through. This is the turning of the descent. You can feel it, even if you could not name it. All night the way has led downward, hour by hour, from the closing gate to the wide field, to the deep water, to the dry sand, to this hidden cavern at the bottom of the world. This is the lowest stair. There is one more room below even this, the deepest room of all, the still heart of the whole country, and the path bends now toward it. But you have come as far down as the descent goes, near enough that the small sign of the morning has already appeared overhead, and from here the night, however slowly, however far off, has begun to turn back toward the light. So take heart in the small bright thing above you and pass on. The watchers hold their silence at the mound. The little red lake glows low and harmless in the dark. Isis and Nephthys keep their patient stations, and the scarab of Khepri hangs faint and waiting in the roof of the deepest cavern, a kept promise in the lowest place. And the boat is drawn on softly around the sacred mound, toward the still heart of the night that waits just ahead. Ra comes to the hidden cavern of Sokar, to the lowest stair of the long descent, and you come with him, past the guarded mound and under the small bright sign. The morning is far off still, but its sign is lit, and the way from here bends downward one last time, and then, at the very bottom, begins at last to turn. The path comes down off the last stair, and the ground grows level, and the boat is set once more upon water. You had not expected water again so soon, but it is here, deep and black and utterly still, filling the floor of the deepest room of the night. The crew coil their ropes and step aboard, and you step aboard after them and find your place on the low bench, and the hull takes the water and rides. After the long dry walk, it is strange and good to be carried again, to feel the faint lift and settle of a boat on deep water beneath you. The oars go out, but they barely move. Here, in the very middle of the dark, the current is so slow and the water so still that the boat needs almost nothing to carry it, and the rowers let their blades rest in the water more than they pull. This is the still heart of the Duat. You are at the center of the whole long country now, the deepest and most hidden room of all, the place the entire night has been descending toward since the western gate closed behind you. Everything has led here, and here everything grows quiet in a way it has not been quiet before, not in the field, not in the deep channel, not even in the guarded cavern. This is a deeper hush. It is the hush at the very bottom of things, where there is nothing below you but the oldest water there is. For beneath the boat, close under the thin hull, lies the water of none. The old people spoke of none as the water that was there before anything else was, the dark, endless deep out of which the whole world first rose. It has no shore and no bottom and no beginning. It was there before the first sunrise, before the first land lifted its back out of the flood, before there was any world at all to have a night or a day. And it did not go away when the world was made. It lies always underneath, the deep, dark water at the root of everything, and here, in the deepest room of the night, it lies closer to the boat than anywhere else in the whole journey. You feel it under the hull. You feel how near the beginning of all things is, just there, a hand's breadth of dark water below your resting feet. It is not a fearful nearness. It is the nearness of something very old and very deep and utterly at rest, the still water that holds the world up from below. And in this deepest room, in this closest hour, a thing happens that the whole night has been moving toward. The lamp at the prow, which has burned all night, which lit the gate and crossed the field and touched the faces along the water of Osiris and hung small and steady through the dry sand and the guarded cavern, comes down now to rest. For here, on the still floor of the deepest room, lies the quiet body of Osiris. He rests at the very center of his own country, in the deepest and most guarded place of the whole night, and the light of Ra comes down to him. The lamp descends. The light of the living sun settles upon the sleeping Lord of the dead, and for one held moment the two are joined and are one. The old texts spoke of this with great care, because it is the hinge on which the whole night turns. The sun that sails and the king who rests, the light that moves and the stillness it moves through, meet here at the bottom of the dark and become, for one breath, a single thing. And the whole night pauses. You feel it pause. Everything grows still at once. The oars, which had barely moved, stop moving altogether and rest in the black water. The boat holds where it is, without drifting, without turning. The lamp burns straight up, not leaning, not flickering, a single unwavering thread of gold in the deepest dark. Not a sound anywhere. Not the smallest ripple on the water of none. The whole country of the night holds its breath, and you hold yours with it, and for that one long moment, nothing in all the world moves or needs to move. The sun has come to rest upon the sleeping god at the bottom of the night, and time itself seems to stop and gather and wait. There is one who stands near, keeping the record of this hour. He stands a little apart at the edge of the still water, tall and quiet, and there is the shape of a long-beaked bird in the set of his head, the calm, attentive stance of a keeper of accounts. This is Thoth, the one who writes, the one who measures and remembers and sets down what is true. He keeps the record of the hours the way a careful scribe keeps the record of the days. He stands here now, at the very hinge of the night, and he marks this deepest moment in whatever book the gods keep, so that the joining of the light and the sleeping king in the deepest room is witnessed and remembered and true. Nothing that happens in the country of the night happens unwatched. Thoth is there. He sees the light come down. He sets it in the record. And then he too is still and waits with everything else through the held breath of the hour. You rest in that stillness, and it is the deepest rest of the whole night. This is midnight. Not the midnight of a clock, but the true midnight of the story, the lowest and stillest point of the dark, the place farthest from both the gate that closed behind you and the gate of morning that waits far ahead. Everything in the journey has been coming down to this, and everything after it will be, slowly, arising. But here, right here, there is only the pause. The light rests on the sleeping god. The water of none lies close and old beneath the hull. Thoth keeps his quiet watch. The lamp burns straight up into the dark, and the boat holds still on the black water, and there is nothing at all that you must do. This is the hour to let go entirely. You have loosened your grip in the field and rested in the deep water and walked patiently across the sand, and passed safely through the guarded cavern, and now, in the deepest room, there is nothing left to hold at all. The whole night is still. The oldest water in the world is holding you up from below. The light of the sun has come down to rest, and if the sun itself can rest here at the bottom of the dark, then surely you can rest here too. Let the pause be yours. Let the held breath of the hour be your breath, slow and deep and unhurried. Let the boat hold you still on the black water, close over the water of none, in the deepest and safest room of the night, where the light and the sleeping king are one, and Thoth keeps the record, and nothing moves, and nothing is asked, and nothing is feared. Ra rests in the deepest room of the night, upon the sleeping body of Osiris, over the ancient water of none, with Thoth keeping the quiet record, and the lamp burning straight and still. And you rest there with him, at the very bottom of the dark, in the stillest place in the whole long country. The night has paused. Hold in the pause a while. There is a long, slow rising still to come, and morning far off at the end of it, but none of that is now. Now there is only the deepest room, and the still water, and the single steady flame, and the whole night holding its breath in the dark. The held breath of the deepest room lets go, gently, and the boat begins to move again. You feel it before you understand it. The lamp, which had burned straight up through the pause, leans the smallest amount toward the way ahead, and the oars, which had rested in the black water, dip once softly and take a stroke. The still heart of the night is behind you now. The long, slow rising has begun. You settle lower on your bench, warm and loose, and more than half asleep, and you let the boat carry you on out of the deepest room and into the water beyond it. The channel narrows here. You can feel the walls of the country of the night drawing closer on either side, the way a wide river gathers itself into a tighter course between two banks. The deep, still water becomes a moving water, slow but sure, and the boat rides it forward into a dark that seems, somehow, more full than the dark behind. There is a weight to the air, not a fear, not yet, only a sense that something large lies ahead across the way, something that the whole night has always had to pass. And then the water begins to go down. You notice it as a strangeness first. The hull, which had ridden easy and high on the deep channel, begins to sit lower, to drag, to feel the bottom coming up beneath it. The oars reach and find less water than they found a moment before. The current, which had carried you gently, thins and slows and starts to fail, the way the river failed once before at the edge of the dry country. But this is not that sand. This is something drinking the water down. Ahead, across the whole width of the narrow channel, lies a great length of coiled dark. It is the Serpent. The old people called it Apep, and it is the one thing in all the country of the night that sets itself against the passing of the light. It lies across the water in coil upon coil, older than the boat, older than the crew, a long, thick darkness stretched from bank to bank, and it is drinking. It draws the water of the channel down into itself, mouthful by mouthful, meaning to leave the bark stranded on a dry bed in the dark, becalmed and helpless in the middle of the country of the night. That is its whole intent, patient and ancient and cold. Take the water, strand the light, hold the sun where it lies. It has tried this on every night since the first night, and it has never yet succeeded, and it tries again now as the boat comes on. But the boat is not undefended. There is one who stands at the prow, and he has stood there many nights before this one. He is set, and there is great strength in the set of his shoulders and the planting of his feet on the narrow deck. He takes up a long spear, and he braces himself at the very front of the bark, above the failing water, and he faces the coils in the dark. He's not afraid of the serpent. He knows it. He has met it here at this same narrows on night after night, and he knows exactly what it is and exactly what to do, and there is nothing in his stance but a steady readiness, the calm of someone doing a hard thing he has done 1,000 times and will do again. He holds the serpent off. He keeps the great coils from the boat, spear-braced and eyes ahead, while the crew hold the bark steady in the thinning water and wait for the way to open. And it does open, but not by force alone. There are two who come forward now, one to either side, and they do not carry spears. They carry words. Isis stands near the middle of the boat, and Serpent stands with her, the same Serpent who walked ahead through the sand and made the crooked path safe, and together they speak over the coiled dark. Their words are low and even and sure. These are the old words of power, the true names and the binding phrases that the serpent cannot stand against, spoken quietly, without heat, the way you might speak a fretful animal into stillness. They do not shout. They do not strain. They simply say the words that must be said, in the order they must be said, and the great coils begin to loosen. What's said holds off with the spear. Isis and Serpent bind with speech, and between the strength at the prow and the words in the middle of the boat, the serpent is mastered. You feel the water come back. That is how you know it is done. Under the hull, where the channel had been failing and the bottom rising, the water gathers again, quiet and cool and rising, lifting the boat off the dark bed and floating it free. The serpent gives the water back. It has no choice. The words have bound it, and the spear has held it, and the great length of it settles aside, out of the channel, its drinking undone, and the current fills the narrows again, and takes the boat up and carries it on. The lamp at the prow, which never wavered, slides forward over the returning water and through the narrows and out the far side, and the coiled dark falls away behind. And here is the thing worth holding on to, half asleep as you are. It happened quietly. The oldest danger in the whole country of the night, the one enemy the light has always had to face, came and lay across the way and tried to strand the boat, and it was turned aside without a single loud thing happening at all. No cry, no thrash, no long struggle in the dark. Only Set of the prow doing his steady practice work, and Isis and Serpent speaking their even words, and the water quietly returning, and the boat quietly going on. The danger passed the way a hard patch of road passes under a good driver, felt for a moment, handled without fuss, and left behind. You did nothing. You were not asked to do anything. You sat low and warm on your bench while others who know this narrows far better than you ever could did the work of it, the strong one at the front and the wise ones in the middle, each to their task, none of them hurried, none of them afraid. The whole passage asked nothing of you but to keep still and keep breathing, and trust the hands that have brought the light through this same place on every night the world has ever had. And they brought it through again. They will bring it through tomorrow. The serpent is old, but the crossing of it is older, and it is a thing that is simply done night after night and then left behind. So let it fall behind. The coils sink away into the dark astern. Set lowers his spear at the prow and stands easy again. Isis and Serpent let their words go quiet, their work finished, and the boat rides high once more on water that has been given back. The narrows widen. The weight goes out of the air, and you feel the bark settle into an easy forward glide, out past the last of the coil dark, into a stretch of the night where nothing lies across the way, and the only thing left to do is drift on. Ra passes the serpent in the narrows of the night, held off by Set and bound by Isis and Serpent, and you pass it with him, low and safe in the warm hull, hardly troubled, hardly stirred. The water is under you again. The danger is behind you again. The lamp burns on at the prow, steady as ever it was, and the boat goes on through the loosening dark, quiet and unhurried, toward the calm halls that wait ahead. Beyond the narrows the way opens, and the dark grows kinder. You feel the change as a widening. The tight walls that had gathered the channel for the crossing of the serpent fall back on either side, and the water broadens, and the air itself seems to loosen and grow soft. The boat rides easy on the widened water, and the lamp at the prow no longer has that braced, watchful steadiness it held at the narrows. It burns gently now, warmly, throwing its light out across a stretch of the night that means you no harm at all. Whatever the country of the dark still holds ahead, this part of it is at peace, and you feel that peace settle over you like a light cloth laid across the shoulders. Then you begin to hear the voices. They come from ahead and from the sides, soft and low and many, and at first you cannot tell what they are. They rise and fall. They answer one another. And then you understand that it is singing, or something very near to singing, a low, even sound of many quiet voices lifted together in the dark. It is not loud. Nothing here is loud. It is the sound a house makes in the evening when the work is done, and the people in it are content, a murmur of voices with no edge in them, no fear, no grief, only the easy sound of many settled souls. The voices answer the passing lamp the way a village answers a light carried down its one street at night, each doorway acknowledging it softly as it goes by. The boat glides in among a row of halls. They open off the widened water one after another. Shadowed rooms set along the banks of the night, and the lamp touches the mouth of each as the bark slides past. You cannot see far into them, but you can see enough to know what happens there, and what happens there is the gentlest thing you have witnessed all night. In these halls, the dead are cared for. Here they are given what they need, plainly and without ceremony, the way a good household provides for everyone under its roof. Clean cloth is given out. Fresh linen, folded and white, is placed into waiting hands, so that everyone in these rooms is clothed and covered and made decent in the dark. And bread is given too, each one their share, set down where it can be reached, so that no one in the long country of the night goes without. It is such a small thing, cloth and bread, and it is such a large kindness. You watch it happen from the passing boat, and something in you eases at the sight. All night the country of the dark has been vast and strange and old, full of sand and serpents and deep water and hidden mounds, and here, at last, in these quiet halls, it turns out to be, underneath all of that, a place of simple care. The dead are not left cold. They are not left hungry. They are given clean cloth to wear and their portion of bread to eat, exactly as the living are given these things by anyone who loves them, and the giving is done gently, hall after hall, without hurry and without stint. The night, for all its size, keeps house. It looks after its own. And there's an order to it, a rightness, that you can feel moving through the halls. The old people had a word for that rightness. They called it ma'at, and by it they meant the way things are supposed to be, the balance and the truth and the fair order that holds the world steady, in the halls of the dead as much as in the courts of the living. Ma'at moves through these rooms now, quietly setting things back into their proper places. Where something had slipped out of true in the long dark, it is gently trued again here. Where a share was owed, the share is given. Where a soul lacked cloth or comfort, the lack is quietly made good. Nothing is forced. Nothing is punished in these halls. It is only that the right order of things, the fair and gentle balance, is restored, room by room, the way a careful hand sets a crooked thing straight without a word. You catch the smell of the halls as the boat drifts by their open mouths. It is a clean smell, the smell of fresh linen and warm bread and a little lamp oil, the smell of a house that has been kept well. It reaches you across the water, faint and homely, and it carries you back, half asleep as you are, to every warm room you have ever known at the end of a long day. There is nothing strange in it. There is nothing cold in it. It is only the good plain smell of care being taken, of cloth being folded and bread being broken and small lamps being trimmed, and it drifts out over the dark water and settles around the boat like a blanket. You breathe it in slowly. You let it fill you. And the halls slide by, one after another, warm and quiet and kind. The boat is not tested here. That is worth resting in, half asleep as you are. All night there have been thresholds and dangers, the closing gate, the dry crossing, the serpent in the narrows, and at each of them there was something to pass, something to be got through. But not here. In these halls the bark is not challenged. It is greeted. The soft voices lift as the lamp goes by, welcoming the light rather than barring it, and the halls open one after another and let the boat glide through without a single question asked. You are a known traveler passing among kind neighbors, and the whole hour is nothing but a slow procession through their quiet welcome. There is no gate to open. There is no toll to pay. There is only the passing and the singing and the light moving gently from one hall to the next. You drift among the rooms and let the calm of them fill you. The lamp touches a doorway, and inside there is the pale gleam of folded cloth being given, and the low sound of contented voices, and then the doorway slides back into the dark astern, and another opens ahead. The water is smooth. The oars barely work. The bark moves at the pace of the singing, unhurried, welcomed, and you lie low in the warm hull and feel yourself welcomed with it. Whatever weariness the long night has laid on you, it loosens here. Whatever the dark still holds ahead, it can wait. This hour asks nothing of you but to drift and to listen, and to let the gentleness of the halls settle over you like the clean cloth being given out along the banks. There is a deep comfort in a place where the only work being done is kindness. You have crossed sand and passed serpents and rested over the oldest water in the world, and now the country of the night shows you its quietest face, which is care. Cloth for the cold, bread for the hungry, balance for what has slipped out of true, a soft welcome for the passing light, and no test, and no toll, and no fear. Let it be enough, because it is enough. Let the singing hold you. Let the halls open and close and open again. Let Ma'at move through the rooms and set the small things right, and let the boat carry you gently on through the kindest hour of the night, welcomed everywhere it goes. Ra passes through the halls where cloth and bread are given, welcomed by the soft voices of the dead and the gentle order of Ma'at, and you pass through with him, warm and easy and unafraid. The rooms slide by, one after another, full of quiet care. The lamp goes on ahead. And beyond the last of the halls the water waits, smooth and dark and open, for the long steady rowing that will carry the light on toward the far, faint widening of the walls. Past the last of the halls, the soft voices fall away behind you, and the water opens out, and the boat settles into a longer, steadier stride. You feel the current quicken, just a little, not much. Nothing in the country of the night moves fast. But after the drifting hush of the halls, there is a new purpose in the way the bark takes the water, a sense of the boat gathering itself for a long straight run through the dark. The lamp at the prow steadies and points ahead. The walls of the night lie far off on either side now, past the reach of the light, and between them the water runs black and smooth and wide, an open course with nothing across it, made for going forward and nothing else. And the rowers find their rhythm. You feel it before you hear it. That is the strange and lovely thing about this hour. The stroke of the oars comes up first through the wood of the boat and into your own body, a slow, deep pulse that you feel in your back and along your bones before your ears catch the sound of it. Then the sound arrives, low and soft, the long dip of the blades going down into the black water altogether, and the quiet pull and the gentle rise, and the small trickle of water off the lifted oars before they reach forward and go down again. Dip and pull and rise. Dip and pull and rise. It settles into you the way a heartbeat settles, so steady and so even that after a little while you stop noticing where your own breathing ends and the stroke of the oars begins. The crew work in silence. There's no call to keep the time, no voice counting the stroke. They do not need one. They have rowed this water on every night there has ever been, and the rhythm lives in them now below the level of thought, blade after blade entering the water together, rising together, reaching together, without a word spoken among them. It is the easy silence of people who know their work so well that the work does itself. You watch the dark shapes of them lean forward and draw back, forward and draw back, in perfect, unhurried time, and there is something in the sight that loosens every last knot of waking in you. Nothing needs saying. Nothing needs deciding. The rowers simply row, and the boat simply goes, on and on into the smooth black water. You let your eyes close, and the rowing becomes a thing you feel rather than see. The soft dip of the blades, the little run of water off the oars as they lift, the gentle creak of the wood as the boat leans into each pull and settles back. It is a small handful of sounds, the same few over and over, and there is nothing in any of them to snag the mind or hold it awake. They fold together into one long, low sound, even and unbroken, the sound of a boat being rowed steadily through the dark by people who are in no hurry at all. It is the kind of sound a tired body leans toward the way. It leans toward warmth. You do not have to listen for anything in it. It asks nothing of you. It only carries you, stroke after slow stroke, deeper into rest. This is an hour when nothing happens, and the nothing is the gift. There is no gate here. There is no serpent, no dry crossing, no test, no threshold, no God standing in the way. There is only the open water and the long, steady stroke and the lamp burning quiet at the prow. All the dangers of the deep night are behind you now, met and passed and left in the dark astern, and all the widening toward morning is still ahead, a long way off yet. And in between, here, there is this, pure forward motion. The boat going on through the dark for no reason, but that going on is what it does, carried by hands that never tire, over water that never ends, before the light does. You do not have to do anything with this hour. You only have to let it carry you. So let it carry you. Feel the stroke come up through the wood again, that slow, deep pulse in your back. Feel the boat lift the smallest amount on the pull and settle again on the rise. Feel the cool air of the open water moving softly past your face as the bark slides forward through it. The lamp throws its steady light out over the black water ahead, and the light finds nothing there but more water, calm and dark and welcoming, stretching on into the night. There is nothing to watch for. Nothing is coming. The way is open and clear and long, and all that is asked of you is to lie low and warm in the hull and let the rowers do what rowers do. The rhythm has been carrying you all night, you realize, in one form or another. It was the dip and pull of the oars in the field of still water, at the very start, when the boat first slid out into the mouth of the night. It was the slow fall of your own feet on the sand when the river gave out and you leaned into the rope and walked. It was the held breath of the deepest room and the even words spoken over the narrows. It was the soft rise and fall of the voices in the halls. All night it has been the same slow, steady beat, changing its instrument from hour to hour, the oar and the footfall and the breath and the song, but never changing its pace, never hurrying, never stopping. And here in the open water it comes back to the oars again, to the long dip and pull that started the whole journey, as if the night were quietly reminding you of where you began before it carries you the rest of the way home. Far ahead, so faint you are not sure at first that you see it at all, the walls of the night begin to widen. You cannot say when you first notice it. The dark simply seems by the smallest degree less close than it was. The far reaches of the country of the night, which have pressed in on the water hour after hour, begin very slowly to draw back, to open, to make room, as if the long, narrow course were at last spilling out towards something broader ahead. The lamp still finds only water in front of it. But the water runs on farther now before the dark closes it in, and the sense of a widening, a loosening, a slow opening out towards some far edge of the night grows steadier with every long stroke of the oars. You do not need to understand it yet. It is enough that it is there. For now there is only the rowing, and the rowing is enough. The blades go down together into the black water and come up together, and the boat goes on, and the pulse of the stroke beats slow and even in your back, and the lamp burns steady at the prow, and the walls of the night draw back the smallest breath farther with every pull. Nothing happens. Nothing needs to. You are being carried through the open dark by tireless hands, over calm water, toward a widening you can feel but cannot yet see, and there is nothing in the whole of it for you to do but rest and be carried. Ra crosses the open water in the long, steady stride of the rowers, borne on through the dark toward the slow widening of the walls, and you cross it with him, warm and still and more than half asleep in the hull. The oars dip and pull and rise. The boat goes on. The lamp burns on ahead. And somewhere far in front of it, past the reach of the light, the night has begun, very quietly, to make room for the morning that is coming. The widening you felt coming holds off a little longer, and the water beneath the boat changes first. You notice it as a clearing. The channel that ran black and smooth under the rowers begins to deepen and to clear, until the water is no longer a dark surface with the dark below it, but a deep, clean body of water that the lamp seems to reach down into. The light finds room in it now. It slides down through the water instead of resting on top, and where it goes, the water glows softly, a gentle held light in the depth of it, so that the boat rides on a slow river of quiet brightness through the dark. The oars go in and out of it without a splash. The bark leaves a faint glowing seam behind it that closes and fades, and you lie low and warm and watch the light move in the water and feel the last of the night's hardness go out of the air. This is a kind hour. You can feel it before you know why. Below the boat, in the deep, clear water, there are people. You see them the way you see anything in the country of the night, softly and without fear. They lie in the water, and the water holds them up, and the lamp touches them as the bark passes over, and their faces are calm. These are the ones who went down into water in their living, who were lost to the river or the sea and never came home, and here, in this hour, the water that took them gives them back. It lifts them. It carries them the way it once pulled them under, only gently now, only kindly, and it holds them up to the light instead of down into the dark. No one is drowning here. The drowning is finished, long finished, and what happens now is the opposite of it, a lifting and a holding and a slow making whole. You watch the water carry them, and something in your chest loosens. All night, the country of the dark has cared for its own in one way or another, with cloth and bread in the quiet halls, with a safe path over the sand, with a spear at the prow, and even words over the coils. But this is the tenderest care of all, and the most surprising. Even the water is on the side of the sleepers. Even the thing that hurt them has turned to healing. The old people knew this hour and set it down, that those who drowned are not left in the deep, but are gathered here in the clear water and lifted and given light and made whole again as the boat goes over. You did not expect the night to be so gentle. It is gentle. It has been gentle all along, under its size and its strangeness, and here at the mending hour it shows you plainly. And there is a heat in this hour that must be cooled, and it is cooled. There is a fierceness that belongs to the sun, a burning edge to the light, and the old people knew it and gave it a name. They called it Sekhmet, and by her they meant the heat of the sun at its hardest, the part of the light that can scorch and parch and lay a field to dust. She is here in the deep, clear water, but she is not fierce here. Here she is cooled. The clean water closes around the heat of her and takes the burning out of it, slowly, patiently, the way a warm iron laid in water gives up its heat in a long, soft hiss and becomes only warm. Her fierceness sinks away into the depth and is gone, and what is left of her is not a burning at all. It is only warmth, a low kind warmth, the warmth of a hearth banked for the night, the warmth of a body under a blanket, spread out through the water and up through the hull and into you where you lie. You feel that warmth reach you, and you sink a little deeper into the hull. The fire has gone out of the light, and only the comfort of it is left. That is what this hour does. It takes the hard edge off everything, the hard edge off the water, the hard edge off the heat, the hard edge off whatever in you was still holding itself ready, and it leaves behind only the soft and the warm and the whole. You are not being watched over by anything fierce now. The fierce thing has been laid in the cool water and gentled. What moves over you is warmth without burning, light without glare, care without any hardness in it at all, and you let it move over you and take from you, one by one, the small last tensions of the night. There is one who tends this hour, and he tends it well. His name is Thoth, and he keeps the record of things and sets them right, and here in the healing water he goes quietly among what was hurt and mends it. Where a thing was broken in the long dark, he sets the pieces true. Where a wound was left open, he closes it. Where something had slipped out of its right shape, he eases it back into shape, without hurry, without a word, the way a patient hand smooths a wrinkled cloth flat again. He works over the water, and over the ones the water holds up, and under his tending the harm of the whole night is quietly undone. Nothing shows the effort of it. It is only that what was wrong becomes right, softly, all through the hour, while the boat glides over the clear, deep water, and you lie warm above it and watch. And the water gives the light back like a floor of polished stone. That is the sight of this hour, the one to hold as you drift. The healing water, deep and clean and calm, takes the lamp's light and returns it whole, a smooth, unbroken sheen laid across the surface, bright and even as a floor of dark polished stone with a single flame reflected in it. There is not a ripple to break it. The oars barely trouble it. The whole surface holds the light and gives it back, steady and shining, and the boat moves across that shining floor of water as smoothly as a hand slides across polished stone, on and on through the mending hour, over the ones being lifted and made whole, through the warmth that used to be a fire, under the quiet tending of Thoth, who sets the broken things right. Let it mend you, too. Whatever the long night wore down in you, this is the hour that repairs it. You do not have to ask. The water lifts what was sinking. The warmth eases what was tight. The hurt of the dark is gathered up and set right and given back whole, and you, warm and low in the hull, are gathered up in the same gentleness, mended along with everything else the boat passes over. Nothing is asked of you here but to be still and be carried and be healed. So be still. Let the clear water hold you the way it holds the sleepers below. Let the cooled warmth spread through you. Let the light lie smooth and shining on the surface and carry the boat across it, slow and even, deeper into the tender heart of the night's kindness. Ra passes over the healing water where the drowned are lifted and made whole, where the fierce heat of Sekhmet is cooled to warmth, and Thoth sets the broken things right, and you pass over it with him, mended and warm, and more than half asleep in the hull. The water shines like polished stone beneath you. The lamp burns soft at the prow, and beyond the last of the deep, clear water the way runs on, cooler now and thinner, toward the far edge of the night where the first gray of the morning has begun, very quietly, to gather. The healing water falls behind, and the air begins to change. You feel it on your face before you understand it. The warm, close air of the deep night, which has lain heavy and dark over the water hour after hour, begins to thin. It grows cooler. It grows lighter somehow, easier to breathe, as if a window had been opened somewhere far ahead and a small cool draught were finding its way back to you along the channel. The boat rides forward into it, and the coolness moves past you, and you draw it in slowly and feel it clear the last of the deep night out of your chest. It carries almost no smell at all, only coolness and distance, and even that is a new thing, for the deep night has smelled of river, silt, and lamp oil, and old still water the whole long way through. Something is ahead. You cannot see it yet, but the air is coming from it, cool and thin and new, and every stroke of the oars carries you a little nearer to wherever it begins. And the water is full of serpents now, and they carry light. You see them along the channel, long and slow and gleaming, moving through the water beside the boat and over the banks of it, and there is nothing to fear in them. These serpents do not lie across the way to strand the boat. They carry the way forward. Along the back of each one, set close together like beads on a cord, are small points of light, faint and cool and steady, a scattering of little stars born slowly through the dark on the coils of the great snakes. You watch them pass. The lamp at the prow is not the only light anymore, and has not been for a while, though you are only now sure of it. There are these small carried stars, dozens of them, gliding along on the backs of the serpents, and the sight of them is strange and lovely and calm, a slow river of little lights moving through the last of the dark. They are carrying the hours, the old people said, and winding the time fresh. That is a work of this part of the night, and it is quiet work. Time itself, which ran down through the long, dark hour by hour, is being wound again here, gathered up and made new for the day that is coming. The little stars born on the serpents are the fresh hours being carried up toward the morning, the new day's measure of time made ready and brought forward out of the dark. Nothing hurries it. The serpents move at the slow, even pace of everything in the country of the night, and the small lights ride their backs without a flicker, and the boat slides on among them, and the fresh time is wound and carried and made ready all around you as you drift. You are watching the morning being prepared. You are inside the making of the new day, low and warm in the hull, while the little stars go by. There is one who stands where the making is done, and he is very old. His name is Atum, and he is the completed one, the old God in whom all things are finished and made whole, and he stands here at the far turning of the night where the eastern gate is being made ready. He does not rush the work. He is too old and too complete for rushing. He stands at the place where the night bends at last toward the morning, and the making of the eastern gate goes on around him, slow and sure, and his presence over it is like the presence of an old craftsman in a workshop at the end of a long task, calm and unhurried, seeing that each thing is done as it should be done before the day begins. Where he stands, the dark is thinnest. Where he stands, the cool new air is strongest. He is the hinge of the whole night, the still old point where the long descent finishes and the long rising toward light comes into its own, and the boat draws slowly on toward him through the carried stars. And far ahead, for the first time in the whole night, there is gray. You almost miss it. It is so faint, and it has come on so slowly that for a while you take it for a trick of your tired eyes. But it holds and it grows, the smallest lightening of the dark at the very front of everything, a thin gray seam laid along the far edge of the night where before there was only black. It is not morning. It is not even nearly morning. But it is the first true sign of morning, the faint gray promise of it, showing at last at the end of the long channel after all the black hours, and the sight of it settles something deep in you that has been waiting all night to be settled. The light is coming. It has always been coming. And now, far ahead, past the carried stars and the old completed one, you can begin, just barely to see it. Along the edges of the water there is a last setting, right, and then the water runs clean. There are those in the country of the night who did not keep the right order in their living, who took more than their share and gave less than their due and left the world worse than they found it. And here at the turning they come to their end. There is one who receives them. The old people called her Amet, and to her the condemned are given at the edges of the channel, quietly and without cruelty, and once they are given, they are gone. It is not a punishment you have to watch. It happens away at the banks, in the last of the dark, softly, the way the wrong things of a long day are cleared away at its end, so the next day can begin clean. The condemned are given to Amet and are gone, and behind them the water runs clear again, and the boat passes on through water with nothing wrong left in it, into the cool, clean air of the coming morning. You do not need to fear that ending, low and warm as you are. It is not for you. Nothing in this hour is aimed at you. The setting right at the edges is the night keeping its own house one last time before the dawn, sweeping the last wrong things away so that the day comes up over clean water and clean air, and you are only a passenger drifting through it, carried past the far banks toward the gray light. What reaches you is not the ending, but the cleanness after it, the sense of a great long night being tidied and finished and made ready to hand over to the morning. The air is thin and cool. The little stars glide by on the serpents' backs. The old completed one stands at his post where the eastern gate is being made. And far ahead the gray holds and widens, and the boat turns fully now toward it, toward the east, toward the morning, and goes on. Ra turns toward the east, among the star-bearing serpents, past Atum at the making of the gate, past the last clean sweeping given to Ammit, and you turn with him, cool and calm, and nearly asleep in the hall. The fresh hours ride by on the coils. The old god keeps his still post. And ahead, no longer only imagined, the first gray of the morning lies along the edge of the night, waiting for the boat to come to it. The gray holds ahead, and the channel narrows one last time toward it. You feel the walls of the night gather in again, as they gathered once before at the coils in the water, but there is no weight in this gathering, no dread, only a sense of the whole country of the dark drawing itself down to a single narrow way for the last passage of the night. The water quickens. The cool air pours back stronger now, straight down the narrowing channel from the gray that lies ahead. And you see, at the very end of the way, what the boat is coming to. There is a great serpent lying along the last of the channel, longer than any coil you have passed, and it does not bar the way. It is the way. Its dark length runs on ahead into the gray, and at its far end, where its head lifts toward the light, there is an opening, a mouth, and through the mouth there is morning. The boat enters the serpent at its tail, and you go in with it. There is nothing to fear in the going in. The great serpent is the last passage of the night, and the bark slides into it at the tail the way a boat slides into the mouth of a covered channel, and the dark closes softly overhead, and you pass along the whole long length of it toward the light at the far end. This is the last of the dark. You can feel that it is the last. However long the passage seems, and it is long, it runs only one way, forward, toward the gray mouth ahead that grows with every stroke from a thin far seam into a true opening, a widening arch of pale light at the end of the dark, coming nearer and nearer as the boat is carried up the length of the Serpent toward the morning. And at the mouth the light comes out made new. This is the thing the whole night has been for. At the far end of the great Serpent, where its head lifts toward the gray and the mouth opens onto the morning, the light that went down last evening as an old and tired sun comes out again, made wholly new. It is younger. It is fresh and clean and newborn, a light that has passed through the whole country of the night and been lifted and cooled and mended and made ready, and now comes out at the eastern mouth reborn. You feel the boat carry you up toward that mouth, toward the new-made light, and the dark thins around you, and the gray turns pale, and the pale turns faintly warm, and then the boat slides out of the mouth of the Serpent and into the first true light of the morning. The new light rises as a small, bright thing, and the old people gave it a name. They called it Kepri, and by it they meant the sun at the very moment of its rising, the sun made new, the young morning light that comes up out of the dark as a fresh beginning. That is the form the light takes now as it leaves the Serpent's mouth, small and bright and climbing, the newborn morning lifting free of the last of the night. You watch it rise. After all the black hours, it is almost too gentle to bear, this small, clean, climbing light, and you lie low in the hull and let it come up in front of you, pink and pale and growing, the whole long night resolving at last into this one soft rising. And there are hands to lift the new light into the sky. There is one below it who raises it up. His name is Shu, and he is the god of the air, and he takes the newborn light on the morning of every day and lifts it gently up out of the eastern water and into the room of the sky where it belongs. You feel the light rise, and it is his lifting you feel, the slow, sure raising of the morning up into the widening air. And there is one above who opens her arms to receive it. Her name is Nut, and she is the sky itself, the great arch of it stretched over the whole world, and in the east she opens to give birth to the day. The old people said it plainly, that the sky swallows the sun each night at the western edge and gives birth to it again each dawn in the east. And here you see the giving birth, the morning light rising into the open arms of the sky, lifted by the air, received by the heavens, brought up whole and new over the eastern water. And the old completed one is here at the end, as he was at the turning, seeing the day begin. Atum stands at the eastern edge where the light comes up, the finished god at the finished work, and under his quiet regard the morning takes its place in the sky without a flaw. Everything that was made ready in the turning of the night is delivered now, whole and on time, the fresh hours and the newborn light and the clean, cool air of the day, and the old god sees it done and is content. The night has kept its promise. The light that went down has come up, and Atum stands over the keeping of that promise the way he stood over the making of the gate, calm and complete, at the far bright edge of the story where the dark ends and the day begins. One stays behind, and you should know it before you rest. Not everything comes up into the morning. Osiris stays. He remains in the quiet country of the night, the patient king of it, keeping the still dark realm the way a good keeper keeps a house through the day so that it is ready again by evening. He does not rise with the light. He does not need to. His place is the night, and he holds it gently and without complaint, so that when the sun goes down again at the western hills, there will be a country waiting under the dark, kept and ordered and safe for the light to pass through once more. There is a great comfort in that, half asleep as you are. The night is not abandoned at dawn. It is only handed back to the one who keeps it, and it will be there, quiet and cared for, whenever the light must cross it again. And the boat touches the eastern shallows, and there is nothing left to do but rest. You feel it come to rest the way it came to rest at the very beginning, softly, the hull settling into shallow water at the edge of the world, only this is the eastern edge now, and the water is pink with the first of the morning instead of blue with the last of the evening. The oars go still. The lamp at the prow, which burns steady through every hour of the dark, pales in the growing light until you can barely see its flame against the morning. The long night is over. The light is up. The boat has carried you the whole length of the dark and brought you out safe into the dawn, and now it rests in the warm eastern shallows and asks nothing more of you at all. So rest. There is nothing left that needs your watching. The morning comes up slow and warm over the water. The pink turns to gold at the edges. The cool air of the turning warms gently as the new light climbs, and the warmth spreads out over the eastern shallows and over the resting boat, and over you where you lie low and safe in the hull, more than half asleep and let go at last. You crossed a whole country of the night and came to no harm. You passed the gate, and the still water and the sand, and the deep room, and the coils, and the halls, and the long rowing, and the healing water, and the turning, and here you are, safe in the morning, with the light up, and the night kept behind you, and nothing at all left to do. Let the warm morning come up over the water. Let the boat rest in the shallows. Let go of the last of your waking, and rest, and rest. Ra comes up new at the gate of morning, lifted by Shu into the open arms of Nut, risen as Khepri over the eastern water, while Osiris keeps the quiet night behind, and you come up with him into the warm dawn and rest at last in the shallows, safe and carried, and home. The lamp fades in the growing light. The morning warms the water, and there is nothing more now but the soft gold coming up over the eastern shore, and rest.